shines the one. Of all the forms there are not any that have not come from the one. Smaller than the smallest, greater than the greatest, the light beyond all darkness, the love within our hearts. In the stillness of the mountains, in vast skies of brilliant blues, in ancient worlds, in modern cities, that wondrous light of lights shines through. Brighter than the brightest, higher than the highest, deeper than the deepest, the love within our hearts. Across this world are many people, so many creatures great and small. We are all children of the Mother. She is the one who made us all. Beauty of all beauty, yet beyond both time and space, still dwelling in each moment, bestowing on us her grace. From the one has come the many, in the many shines the one. Of all the forms there are not any that have not come from the one. Smaller than the smallest, greater than the greatest, the light beyond all darkness, the love within our hearts. The light beyond all darkness, the love within our hearts.
Om Bhadram Karne Vishrunuyaama Devaha Bhadram Pashye Makshabhirya Chatraha Sthairairangai Tuštuvagum Sastanubihi Vyashema Devahitanyadayuhu. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om, O gods, may we hear with our ears what is auspicious. O ye adorable ones, may we see with our eyes what is auspicious. May we sing praises to ye and enjoy with strong limbs and body the life allotted to us by the gods. Om, peace, peace, peace. The spiritual journey is not about residing above our humanity. The spiritual journey is not about rising above our humanity, but diving deeply into it. so that we may discover the divine within the human. The spiritual journey is not about rising above our humanity, but diving deeply into it, so that we may discover the divine within the human. Meister Eckhart. Be human first, then be divine. Let me tell you a story. In a quiet grove near the bank of the Ganges, there lived a revered ascetic named Vidyananda. He had studied the Upanishads, memorized the Gita, and could discourse for hours on the non-dual nature of Brahman. There is no doer, he would say. All is one. The world is mithya, dependent reality, like a dream and a dreamer. Devotees came from far and wide to hear him speak. They called him Mahatma, great soul, Jnani, knower, or liberated one. And indeed, Vidyananda believed he was free. One winter evening, a beggar, thin, shivering, barefooted, approached his ashram. The man bowed and whispered, "Maharaj, I have not eaten in 2 days, and my child lies with fever at home. Please, I need some help. Give me some medicine and food." Vidyananda, seated on his deer skin, eyes half closed in meditation, did not open them. Calmly, he said, "My son, why do you speak of hunger? The body is unreal. The self is ever full, untouched by heat or cold, want or plenty. You are not the body. Realize this, and your sufferings ends." The beggar stared, stunned. What is this man saying? He tried once more. "But my child," he said, "my child, she's burning in fever." Vidyananda smiled faintly. "All beings are manifestation of the same Brahman. Your child, you, the food we eat, nothing is separate. We cling to name and forms. Why do we have to cling to name and forms? Go in peace. Meditate on I am Brahman." Heartbroken, the beggar left, dragging his feet through the frost. That night, in a dream, Vidyananda saw Lord Krishna. He had a vision, not in the battlefield of Kurukshetra, but standing beside the feverish child, holding her hand. Krishna turned to him in the dream and said gently, "You speak well of oneness, O wise one, but tell me, when you saw the beggar, did you see me? When you denied him food, did you deny it to me? You say the world is mithya, but mithya is not asat. Asat means non-existent. Mithya is everything that is dependent or subject to change. In other words, we say mithya when something is unreal. You say the world is mithya, but mithya is not asat, non-existent. It is satya, dependent on me. To ignore the suffering in mithya is not wisdom. It is indifference, dressed as knowledge. Vidyananda awoke trembling, tears streamed down his face, not for himself, but for the child he had failed. At dawn, he ran to where the child was with rice, medicine, and clothing, and started serving the child as an offering. Years later, a disciple asked him, "Master, do you still teach that the world is unreal?" Vidyananda replied, "Yes, yes. But now I also know that Brahman wears the face of the hungry. To know oneness is not to ignore the many, but to serve the many as the one." To know oneness is not to ignore the many, but to serve the many as the one. Good morning, everyone. It's good to see you. Back to Santa Barbara. What do you think of the story? A little extreme, huh? A little intense. Well, our topic today deals with this lack of honesty and lack of personal responsibility with something we call spiritual bypassing. Are you familiar with this term? It has many dimensions. It was first formulated by a psychologist and Buddhist teacher called John Wellwood in the early 1980s to describe the tendency to use spiritual ideas, practices, or beliefs to avoid or suppress unresolved emotional issues. Think about it. To suppress unresolved emotional issues, psychological wounds, or develop mental needs. The tendency to use spiritual ideas or practices or beliefs to avoid or suppress unresolved emotional issues, behaviors. Avoid dealing with psychological challenges like painful emotions, unhealed wounds. By observation, he noticed that there were a lot of people who either excused themselves for being spiritual to avoid dealing with either responsibilities or painful situations. Do we do that? Hopefully not. There is the tendency to utilize the spiritual teachings to frame them in a way to customize the ideal according to our convenience. Spiritual bypassing describes the use of religious language, ritual, mystical ideals to avoid psychological honesty, personal responsibility, moral accountability, and authentic engagement with reality. Using religion or spirituality to avoid self-honesty, suppress emotions, evade social responsibility, or construct a false image of holiness. Yep, it's there. We do it in different degrees. In spiritual circles, it is not uncommon to hear statements like, "Oh, I'm not the doer, so it doesn't matter what I do." Really. Everything is an illusion. Why worry about right and wrong? I have transcended guilt, so I don't need to apologize. Spiritual bypassing, it's a defense mechanism, clearly. There is this culture, we all know it. It's the wellness culture, that you have to stay positive day and night, optimistic and happy. We try, don't we? But sometimes reality, we can't avoid it. Oh, don't be so negative. we say, and sometimes we become so uncomfortable with being uncomfortable. Hasn't happened to you sometimes, going through hard times, and just you need somebody to just listen to you? You're not expecting somebody to say, oh, just be more positive. Just listen to me, right? Can we just be humans for a moment? We are so uncomfortable with people's anger. We are so uncomfortable with people's sadness sometimes. And so we start trying to find ways to not sit there with excuses. You start watching the watch, having a look at your phone, somebody's calling or texting you, oh, I gotta go. Faith and spirituality could be a really good defense mechanism. Rather than confronting difficult feelings such as anger, grief, shame, or fear, a person may unconsciously or consciously rise above them by invoking spiritual principles like non-attachment, everything is an illusion, or I'm not the body, I'm not the mind. While spirituality can be a profound path to healing and awakening, no doubt about it, spiritual bypassing distorts this path into a defense mechanism, a way to escape discomfort rather to transform it. A person who was abused as a child, let's see some examples, may say, it was just karma. I needed to learn detachment instead of acknowledging trauma and find a healthy and holistic way to deal with it. The Hindus call it karma, so accept it. But we have to work a lot through that wound that we have deep within in our emotions. After betrayal, someone declares, I have no resentment. I see the divine in everyone, while internally experiencing unexpressed pain and rancor, bitterness and resentment. In relationships, using non-attachment to justify emotional unavailability or neglect. Now, after introducing this spiritual bypassing, there are many dimensions. And I like to focus on the greatest Vedantic spiritual bypassing. Let's go back to the story and try to understand the moral of it. Spiritual knowledge without compassion is not real spirituality, but a spiritual bypassing. We find in the Bhagavad Gita, chapter number 6, verse number 29, he who sees the self in all beings, and all beings in the self, sarvabhutas tamatmanam sarvabhutani chatmani ikshate yoga yukta atma sarvatra samadarshinaha. Seeing everything with equal vision, his mind is established in unity. He who sees the self, capital Self, in all beings, and all beings in the self, seeing everything with equal vision, his mind is established in unity. Like in the song we heard at the beginning. The highest spiritual practice is to see God in every being and act accordingly with coherence. We all know Swami Dhyanayogananda, Sri Ramakrishna's main disciple. He used to say, the only God that is ever worshipped in this world is the God in the living human being. A hungry man does not want religion, he wants bread. When a man is starving, it is no use preaching to him about the soul. First, bread, then spiritual teachings. Do you agree? Makes sense. You can focus on high spiritual teachings if you are hungry. Religion is not in talk, not in reading books, not in speculation, but in actual realization to turn something into a reality, real. And that realization expresses a service, a strength, and fearlessness. The truth is, we cannot use Vedanta to escape life. We have to use it to understand life and ourselves more deeply. I know many of you have been coming to this place, learning or reading about Vedanta, and sometimes we find it very convenient to justify our behavior. But we cannot compromise. Whatever I want for me, I have to give it to others. We can't call suppression surrender. We cannot call suppression surrender. We can't call avoidance non-attachment. We cannot call indifference oneness. Thomas Merton was a Trappist monk and a mystic. He used to say, the truth is not found in escape, but in the courage to be present, present to yourself, to others, and to God. We are not called to do great things, but to do small things with great love and with great honesty. The spiritual life is not a theory. We need to live it fully, honestly, and courageously. A spirituality that bypasses real human experience is not life. It is a mask. So let me tell you why I decided to speak about spiritual bypassing. I was in a Q&A a few weeks ago. I was talking about Vedic transformation that takes place in the mind by the transformation of our personality and character. And it's all about understanding, you know. At that moment, someone said, Swami, I have been spending my whole life waiting for samadhi. I understand how much harm I did to myself and to my family. This was one of what we call the old-timers, an old devotee and friend who opened up. And I see that a lot, that we embrace these spiritual books on yoga, mysticism, but particularly the yoga that we love, you know, those the magic and the esoteric stuff, you know, and the powers, and why not the idea of samadhi? Samadhi is a mental state that comes along with understanding of spirituality, not by avoiding practicing spirituality. Would waiting for samadhi your whole life, missing living your life in the present, be defined as a spiritual bypassing? Well, yes, indeed, I'd say. Waiting for samadhi your whole life while neglecting the present moment and everyday responsibilities can indeed be considered a form of a spiritual bypassing. Not because samadhi is invalid or unimportant, but because the attitude behind the waiting reveals an escape from life rather than an engagement with it. The idea is not to dismiss deep states, mental states of meditation or liberation, but in Vedanta particularly, we must emphasize clarity over experience, knowledge over trance, and living wisely in the world as the true expression of that understanding. You simply cannot wait for a future state of mind. It is here, it is now, and we have to work for it. When I attain samadhi, then I'll be free. We hear that a lot. Freedom, we call moksha, is the samadhi for the Vedanta. That state of understanding that happens in the mind. We call it moksha, liberation. The awakening to the reality is recognition, not attainment. It's recognizing what is in front of me and around me for what it is in reality. Following what the scriptures say. The self is already whole, ever free and ever present. It does not arise in samadhi. It is what makes samadhi possible. You don't become free in samadhi. You are free now. Samadhi may reveal it, but so can clear thinking. And this is Vedanta. If one withdraws from relationships, from duties, or emotional growth, thinking, I'll deal with it with all, I would deal with it all once I attain enlightenment. This is not dealing, it's avoidance. Don't use the I'm seeking the highest as an excuse to avoid being human. True knowledge, self-knowledge in Vedanta and Jnana, according to Vedanta, is not a high state of experience, but a clear, steady understanding. To say, I'm waiting for samadhi, not being living, implies you are not living now, which is false. You are always living. The question is, with what awareness? Samadhi may give us glimpses of peace. But in Vedanta, we are encouraged to listen to the truth. This ancient spiritual heritage, amazing spiritual heritage, these revelations. Reflecting. Think about it. Contemplate about it. that eventually will remove those habits that we have. And knowledge will dawn in our minds. The present is the only time for living. Living. What we do. Staying with ourselves. That is true meditation. Being with our own selves. But since we are not there yet, we keep jumping from thought to thought and becoming thoughts, then we have to do inquiry. Where am I? Ask yourselves, where am I? Am I here? Are you here? Hopefully. Yes, you clearly are where your mind is, where your attention is. If you are here, your answer is, yes, I'm here. Why are you here? Because you know you exist at this very moment, not tomorrow. You exist now. And then the question, who am I? I am that awareness. Existence and awareness of my existence. Nobody can take that away from you. Nobody. You see, Vedanta is here and now. It's not about tomorrow. We cannot neglect our roles in life and our reality, because as long as we experience duality, it is a reality to us. We can intellectually understand and process intellectually that Brahman, what we call Brahman, consciousness, is everywhere, in front of my eyes. I'm surrounded by that reality we call God. In fact, God manifests through me as the limited I. However, even though it's true, we experience duality. And we are all clearly playing different roles in life, in this life. As a parent, as a mother, as a teacher, as a student, we all play roles. And we have to go through challenges in life. And we are subject to laws, the laws of nature. Can we avoid that? Can we avoid living? It is what it is. And this is life, with its good and with its bad. And it's just perfect as it is. Because in order to enjoy and appreciate what is good, we have to know the opposite. Fulfilling your roles with clarity, honesty, and compassion. Clarity, honesty, and compassion prepares the mind for this aha moment of knowledge. More than seeking mystical states of mind. What are you doing? Spending your whole life waiting for samadhi. Wrong approach. The self is recognized here and now, even amid activity. In the Yoga again of the Gita, we find chapter number 2, verse number 50. Buddhi yukto yahatiha ube sukrutadushkrute tasmad yogaya yutyaswa yoga karmasu kaushalam. yoga karmasu kaushalam. One who is endowed with the sameness of mind, the one who is endowed with samatva buddhi, gives up both what we call punya and papam, gives up the good and the bad reactions coming from our own actions. The good and the bad, the goodness and the badness, if I may say, coming from our actions. The one who is endowed with sameness of mind. Therefore, commit yourself to the karma of excellence. It's called karma yoga in our parlance. The yoga of the right action with the right attitude and with the right mindset. Which is the art of working skillfully in proper consciousness. If you know you are a whole, your actions will reflect that wholeness. Your actions will reflect that wholeness, not carelessness. Most of our lives is just about living, but we don't know how to live. And the basic practice, which is to understand that we cannot own everything in our lives, that nothing truly belongs to us. You may say, well, it's for my enjoyment. But you cannot go far with that attitude. You get trapped and you fall into a loop. You want more, and then more suffering comes along with it. To understand that we need to have a way of life. Sometimes we call it a religious way of life. That we have to project before us what we call that unity, that ultimate reality we call God. We have to have a relationship with that ultimate reality. Yes or yes. Whether we like it or not. Because there is no other way. In Vedanta, we talk about two levels of truth. These are Sanskrit terms. Vyavaharika Satya, empirical or transactional reality, the worlds of names, forms, actions, duties, and consequences. The phenomena, our daily life, daily experience. That is one level of reality. The other one, the scripture says, is called Paramarthika Satya, absolute reality. Even though we don't see it, but there is a non-dual, unchanging, limitless self. We call Atman when it comes to our bodies, ourselves living in these bodies, and Brahman as the reality in everything. Paramarthika Satya. Two levels of experience. We must function responsibly in these phenomena, Vyavaharika Satya, while knowing the truth. While knowing the truth. You may say, but I can only know it intellectually. Yes. In the beginning, we have to accept it. Because it has to make sense. We have to trust what wise men told us, left us as a spiritual heritage. These revelations. To know, you know with your senses or through inference. And the third source of knowledge is called Shabda Pramana, to trust in the words of the scriptures or teachings of wise people. Why do we have to trust? Because it has to make sense to you. Because it leads you to freedom and fulfillment. To ignore the reality, this relative world, in the name of the Absolute, to ignore these phenomena, our interactions, in the name of the Absolute, is not wisdom, it's confusion. For example, a person who harms another cannot say, there is no other, to avoid making amends. Or simply say, hey, I'm sorry, I did wrong, didn't see you there. One who neglects family duties cannot claim the world is unreal. The Swami said, hey, I'm clarifying, as a justification for our behaviors. Spiritual bypassing is not enlightenment, it is ignorance in disguise. And the cure is not more spirituality, but authentic self-knowledge. Authentic self-knowledge, grounded in honesty, discipline, and the right thing to do, which is called dharma. As I mentioned before, dharma means everything that I want for me. I want sweet words, I want nice things, I want to be loved. That you have to give. Proper behavior. Because it makes sense, doesn't it? It does. Can't be selfish. The whole teaching of Vedanta, I have 20 more minutes. You guys okay? It keeps going. The whole teaching of Vedanta is, I am Atma Brahman. I am Atma Brahma. This is a Mahavakya. It's a statement that tells us the truth, encapsulated in just 3 words. I am Atma Brahma. The whole teaching of Vedanta is this self is Brahman. This self, the one who is present here, the one who is aware of your existence right now, without all the labels you like to put upon ourselves, yourselves in this particular case. I also do that with myself. I am so, etc. That Brahman, that self is Brahman. The whole teaching of Vedanta is conveyed in these 3 words. This self that you are experiencing right now is the ultimate reality, pervading everything, even this, the microphone, everything. I don't see it, Swami. Trust the truth and behave accordingly. If you change your attitude, how you behave, how you deal with others, you will find that transformation, that magic. Through words, shabda, meaning, the power of the words, this reality can be revealed, says the Upanishads. It's a matter of understanding And when it comes to understanding, we need to have the right mind. Our minds need to be ready, don't you think? No matter how many times, we listen to this so many times, right? Oh, yes, yes, I am Brahman, I am the self. Is that it? We need to process. Think about it again and again. Contemplate upon it. That's the practice. What does it mean? Certainly, there are some obstacles that fog our understanding. It's like a veil before us, clearly. We can't see with clarity this reality. These are called mental obstacles. In Sanskrit, there is a word, pratibandhakas, they are called. Obstacles that prevent us from owing this knowledge. Make it real. It happens to all of us because we are all subject to these laws of nature. But with commitment, faith in the truth, determination, discipline, and you know what it takes to make something real in your lives. I'm doing it. These can be realized. So there are two sadhanas, and this is just, I wouldn't call it basic Vedanta, but we just don't talk too much about this. But this is the answer. If you want to call yourself spiritual, you have to do something about it. And basically there are two types of practices or sadhanas. One that is external, that is how I behave and relate to the world and with others. My values, who I am as a person, my values. So the external practice, which is basically, we are introduced to that as the do's and don'ts. The mandaments or the commandments. These are called external practices, is to understand how I have to live, how I have to act, how I have to work, interact with each other. If I do it right, or in tune with this reality, I will get something that is truly needed. In Sanskrit, it's called chitta shuddhi, or the purification of my mind. The mind, the self, is already pure. This is like gold covered with dirt. The dirt will fall if we start tuning with that reality, with what is right, in our daily behavior, in how we act, in what we think, what we say, the way we say it. Slowly, we'll feel better. We experience some kind of inner peace. Have you experienced that? It's simple. When you say somebody, when you tell somebody you love, or you appreciate something, that person is not expecting that reaction from you. You feel that vibe. You feel the exchange. And you feel good. Take that to all the different levels or dimensions of your life, and you'll see what happens. In the yoga philosophy, sometimes we mix everything, Vedanta and yoga. But in yoga also, this is also present. It's called the yamas and niyamas. I don't like to talk too much about yoga, but our life without values, if we don't practice certain values and disciplines, if you just don't care, if the one right next to you is suffering and you don't extend your hand, you won't be able to meditate. Forget about it. Try. Your life needs to be in tune. It has to be coherent. So in yoga we talk about non-violence, ethical values, universal ethical values, truthfulness, non-stealing, moderation. We have to lead a life in moderation, non-possessiveness. We talk about inner observances or disciplines, like you just can't beat, I know, the wellness culture, right? But it is true. You just can't be pessimistic all the time. You need to get out of that space. At least fake it until you make it. Draw a smile on your face. I was sharing something like this the other day. I remember when I was in a public speaking course, I was told that when I speak, or we speak, we have to smile. Now when we smile, things come out better, right? So, yeah, I'm faking it, but it feels good. So when you smile. So that contentment kind of approach to life. Yes, see the goodness. Try to see the goodness. It's not all bad. At least you are alive. You are able to enjoy music or to see the sunset. We have to practice calmness, which is essential in our lives. Calmness. If we are constantly anxious and reactive, we won't be able to put these things into practice. We have to practice self-restraint. No, this is not for me. It's called tapas, austerity. We have to study, make efforts to know more, or try to understand more. This is part of a study. And at last, we have to have a relationship with the ultimate reality we call God. So all these practices which are external, they are called Bahiranga Sadhana. But also, that doesn't go alone. As I was telling you, calmness is essential. Therefore, we have to have inner practices, internal practices. These are called manasa karma. Manasa means from the mind, actions of the mind, like intentions, meditation, mental worship. This is what we call upasana. And upasana gives us chitta nischalya. Chitta nischalya is as necessary as chitta shuddhi. That purification of the mind I told you before. Chitta nischalya is absorption of the mind. The mind needs to focus. Are you following? Apart from your daily life and action, how you behave, your values, your disciplines, you have to get hold of that mind, because knowledge happens in the mind. So you can't compromise your daily practices, we call meditation, trying to go within and find inner peace. try to get hold of your mind, understand how the mind works. Because all we try is to control the mind. Can't do that. Understand that the mind is a constant flow of thoughts, uninterrupted flow of thoughts. But when you give something to do to the mind, it gets busy with something. Otherwise, the mind is restless. Did you notice? Mind is restless. So why is it that when you sit for meditation, it's not that you have to empty your mind? No, quite the opposite. You have to keep your mind busy so that you fall in that state spontaneously. Keeping the mind busy, giving something to do, is what we call meditation. You think meditation is just, just blank. No, the process of meditation entails that you have to stay active. If the mind goes away, you call it back. Come back here. Sit on this thought with this meaning. This is dhyanam. Because you become what you meditate upon. And if you want to become something, you better become the highest that you can conceive with our human minds. Do you agree? The highest. What is the highest you can conceive with your human minds? Meditation on God. That's why we are giving a mantra that represents our spiritual ideal. With a meaning. Could be a teacher, could be Jesus, could be Allah, the unnamed. But that vibration, sound, is filled with meaning. It is even better if we have a human form, because we humans relate a lot. So when you go to church and see the cross, immediately you do this, and just keep quiet. God is in front of me. That is symbol with meaning. Atma, the self, I have to move forward a little faster. Atma, the self, consciousness within me, is Sat, existence, absolute, Chit, knowledge, awareness of my existence, absolute, and that we are constantly looking for in the outside world, but it is already our own nature. Ananda, bliss, absolute. We are like crazy, lost in the world, looking for what we are already. Ananda, bliss. It's not outside, it's within us. In fact, every single pleasure we experience in the world is nothing but a superimposition on the object of our own inner bliss. So, what is that prevents us from accepting this knowledge? There are two concepts. One is called avarana, that is the concealing power of ignorance. We don't know who we are. And vikshepa, the projecting powers that create these mental distractions and the feeling of being lost in the world. The perception of multiplicity. To eliminate that, these two obstacles, we need two things. External practices to deal with that ignorance, the right way of living, the right way of actions, karma yoga, the right action with the right spirit, doing things the best possible with your whole attention. There is only one way to do things. Sometimes I make mistakes. I'm so used to talking about these things that I had a handyman once in Trabuco, And I was so upset because he did something like, oh my gosh, it was so wrong. And I was like, I said, there's only one thing to do things. I said, just do them right. And the man looked at me, I'm going to charge you anyway. Just do things right with your whole mind, your whole heart. Don't expect anything. If your whole heart and attention is present, the result will take care of itself. That's the right way of living. That takes care of that ignorance. That ignorance is the root cause of our identification, our identity. As human beings, we are individuals, so we say, based on my likes and dislikes. As individuals, our personalities come out of these likes and dislikes. You are the way you feel. I like this, I dislike that. If we match, there is a match. Or we can be friends. We have the same likes and the same dislikes. That's our personality. To move above that, we need to click with our real identity, which is that in everything, that of God. Vivekananda says, the goal of life is to manifest our divinity. Let God manifest fully through us. What do? We keep like, not too much, God. No. I'm going to let you manifest a little bit. Little light here, little love, but not fully. Because we are scared. To trust this reality, slowly we lose this so-called identity and we start identifying or merge as a wave in the ocean with the reality of God. Is it possible? Yes, it is. Yes, it is. We just need to work with it. And from that vikshepa, restlessness, not being able to stay with ourselves because the mind is restless, we need mental work. We just cannot avoid that if we want to call ourselves spirituals or spiritual. We cannot avoid or dodge this work. That wouldn't be honest. That wouldn't be true. That will make us hypocrites. Don't you think? In a spiritual life, we can't afford to be hypocrites. What is the greatest spiritual bypassing in Vedanta? To behave like hypocrites. Not to do the work. External and internal. Oh, I got this. Show me. The self is always free. Our real nature is eternal, no matter our bodies. We are eternal. We have to accept it. If you accept it, you will feel better. Trust me, you feel better. The only obstacle is ignorance, which is to believe that I'm not. So, as I said before, spirituality cannot afford hypocrisy and self-deceit. The spiritual journey is not about rising above our humanity, but diving deeply into it, so that we may discover the divine within the human. A spiritual life is not a theory. We need to live it fully, honestly, and courageously. Thank you.
I'm thankful for the mountains. I'm thankful for the sky. I'm thankful for the songs of birds, and I love to watch them fly. I'm thankful for my family, and always for my friends, and for all of life's miracles. I'm thankful once again. Love is the greatest miracle I know. It fills me with such happiness, helps me as I go through the ups and downs of life. It helps my heart to grow. For love, I'm always thankful, the sweetest miracle I know. I'm thankful for the trees, I'm thankful for the air, I'm thankful for the bees and for their honey that we share. I'm thankful for the animals that roam upon the earth. I'm thankful for the people and for the miracle of birth. I'm thankful for the rains, for nature as she grows, for the sweetly singing rivers and the ocean where they go. I'm thankful for the songs that we sing with all our hearts, and for the peace around us and the peace within our hearts. Love is the greatest miracle I know. Fills me with such happiness, helps me as I go through the ups and downs of life. It helps my heart to grow. For love, I'm always thankful, the sweetest miracle I know. For love, I'm always thankful, the sweetest miracle I know.
What a beautiful song. Thank you. Sunday, November the 30th, 11 a.m. The web we weave. The web we weave by Swami Dhyanayogananda. And I guess that's it. Sisters?
Wednesday we'll have a reading at 5 p.m. on Swami Dhyanayogananda's book.
Uh-huh.
I believe we're now on Swami. I wasn't here for the last one, but we've gone beyond. Oh no, we're going to start reading Trigunatitananda's life.
Trigunatitananda's
And
life.
then we'll give 5. Swami Sarvadevnanda will give the 5 p.m. class in the Bhagavad Gita.
Oh, wonderful. Great. Well, happy Thanksgiving. I will now close with a chant, and those who are interested, we can come back here first I will greet you all as you leave, and we can have a Q&A if you want. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om, that outer world is Purna, full of divine consciousness. This inner world is also Purna, full of divine consciousness. From Purna comes Purna. From the fullness of divine consciousness, the world is manifested. Taking Purna from Purna, Purna indeed remains, because divine consciousness is non-dual and infinite. Om, peace, peace, peace. Well, that's good. No questions.
Means you explained everything well.
Well, hopefully.
You scared everyone away.
Yes, enough with this bypassing. All right.
I do have a question. Okay,
It's okay.
so in my experience, I had gained the desire to want to join a monastery and threw some momentum into that, and then realized that some of that was a desire that came from wanting to bypass other responsibilities in the world. So I've been working on that and serving here and serving my family and trying to walk the walk as it is. How, or perhaps you could share from your experience, how can we convict ourselves of living a more spiritual life to the extreme of even renouncing worldly things like a career or maybe serving our elderly relatives who need help? How can we become so certified that renunciation of those things is our best path, our truest path, our current path?
Okay, well, there are a few questions in one. What we call renunciation truly needs to be understood. Renunciation is not just for monks. Renunciation is the understanding that it's not really through the senses. It's not really through the senses that we will get that peace or inner peace or fulfillment that we are looking for. It's not in the world, unfortunately. So we need to understand how to relate with the world. The only way to do it is by getting the reins. That doesn't mean that you cannot live, because the world is for you, but not you for the world. Meaning we do have to set some boundaries and lead a good life. A good life, well, I don't want to say religious life, but okay, let's just say that. A life based or centered in spiritual values that are a must to be practiced if you really want to grow spiritually. Now, spiritual values, the right way to live, which is with a proper attitude, doing as much as possible what is right. What is right, or the right action? It's just the action that I will not just, it won't benefit me only, or those who I love, or I consider them my own. The actions where they are called contributions. You live to contribute to the world, where everybody benefits. The more people benefit from my actions, the better. So if you can be an excellent, politician without being a politician, if you know what I mean. And you can contribute. It's going to be a mix of good and bad, for sure. But the more people benefit, that's the best action, right? But it's not just the best action that we have to practice in our lives, but also with what approach. So in Vedanta, we have to trust the teachings coming from these seers of the truth that they say, hey, there is a God. Oh, really? There is a God? Because I don't see any God. I mean, really, what is that, an imagination? No, they say. There is a reality in everything. And we are ruled, actually, by all these laws of phenomena, that somebody, something is responsible for that. Okay? By constantly contemplating upon that, which you asked me personally, it took me a while to accept that God is real, to accept that there is truly something we call God. You can call it the universe, you can call it the energy, you can call it however you want to call it. But there is a reality where we are all part of and live in. We can't escape. We cannot escape. And the only way to live is to relate, to tune with that reality. As if when you tune a radio station, until you get it. That's the only way to live. To put before us that principle, that radio station. You are not willing to do that, you are at the will of your own destiny, meaning your actions and how you act in your life. Because you could be a good person and act wisely, right? But yet, if you don't have that center, if you don't have the center of God in everything, you will be centered in your body. So you will be exercising, in a way, different degrees of selfishness. Whereas if your center, the center of your life is that presence of that ultimate reality we call God, you take care of that selfishness. Okay? So I'm trying to answer all your questions by explaining this. So that way of living is not just for you, it is for me, more than anybody else. Meaning, I play a role in life like you. My role is not better than yours. The only difference is the degree of commitment to this practice. I want to commit more. I want to give my whole life and attention to this because I'm a big fan. Because I love it. Because I think it's true. I believe, not just believe, I just feel this is true. You know? And so I don't want to, I just, maybe life after life, I don't know what it is. But I'm extremely passionate. And I'm explaining this with my own reality or experience so you understand. We are all passionate about many things in life. And it's fine. You could be passionate about music or about arts, dancing, whatever. That's a passion. And when you call that, it's like, okay, my whole life finds meaning in this, right? So, personally, I believe that if you can develop that passion for God, or just try to understand the secrets of life, and go deeper into this practice, then you can join a monastery. Because it's probably the best way to go. Because in the monastery, we just focus, our life is centered in the idea of God, in a symbol of God, where we worship every day. We worship every day, and we all have to behave. We have to take care of each other, of a monastic community. So it propitiates, and helps this sort of way of living. If you are not fully passionate about this and you still cling, which is absolutely right and fine to cling to life, because life is beautiful. When we play different roles, it is. I believe it is. It's just when we don't set boundaries or limits to life, then it's hard. It gets hard. But monastic life we say it's renunciation. Renunciation is for all of us. But we play a role and we have a lifestyle. And clearly when we have a lifestyle, especially I tell this to the novices. We presently have 3 novices in it. So I tell them, in the beginning, you just can't do whatever you want. You first need to learn how to be self-disciplined. Okay? So we, the senior monks, are there to help you, guide you there. And yet, it's not going to be what you want, but which we are supposed to do, right? Later on, monks of these monastic organizations, something that is beautiful is that there is a lot of trust. First of all, because we undergo a lot of training, 9 years of training, and also there is only one way to do it, that is just do it right? Otherwise, what's the point? So, back to renunciation. It's for everybody. And back to how you can turn your life into a good spiritual life. Just center your life in God, in creating a very deep relationship with that reality, which is true. Try to go within, try to do that inner work I was telling you in the lecture. Try to understand your own mind. It takes time, but it's worth it. Because all we want is that inner peace. And that inner peace is not private to monks. That inner peace grows while doing the right action, while practicing the right values of life, while living wisely, but finding inner peace or calmness within yourself, with the practice of meditation, japa repetition. This is a japa, prayer. These are all different types of meditations. Meditation is guiding your minds towards one object. That object carries meaning. That meaning needs to be the highest possible, which is the idea of God. That is required for all of us. Without calmness, this is not possible. So this work is a perfect amalgamation of external and internal practice. You can do it. You can even be better than somebody who so-called renounces the world, because that is based on sincerity. Right? If you are not sincere, and anybody wearing these robes and leading an insincere life, what's the point? Eventually it will show. Right? And that person will suffer a lot, right? So if you are sincere, and you really want to devote your life to God, you don't necessarily have to join a monastery. You can do it by serving God in others. It could be your family, it could be your dog, your cat, or just wherever you work, by giving others just a smile or a good conversation, something that will make others smile, and have a good time. That's simple spirituality. The rest, I was telling you, the samadhi thing, that understanding of what Vedanta is. Vedanta is not samadhi. Vedanta is not, it is a mental state, no doubt about it, but it must be practiced. And once it becomes yours, it's just, it is. Once you manage and understand and spontaneously live in that center, then there is neither good nor bad. So that is actually for everybody. You know the story of Nat Mahasaya, the greatest disciple of Sri Ramakrishna. He was a layperson. So it is our sincerity, the degree of our commitment. It's the degree of our commitment. It's just in Sanskrit it's called yukta. The yukta is the person who, I'm doing this. So if you can do it, but there are different degrees of commitment. The more you commit, the better for you. But it doesn't mean that life will be painful or sad. No, quite the opposite. You will have a structure in your life. And we all need that, a structure. And discipline. And that needs to be meaningful to you. So did I answer? You can do
even more than the babbling that I did to generate those questions. You have actually cleared all of my doubts that I was throwing into that query. Thank you very much.
Of course. Yes. No. Sometimes people ask me, why did you become a monk? Well, I don't know, but one thing I can tell you, I was always, I am very passionate about this. Like extreme passion. Like there is nothing that I care more than my inner life and the practice of this. Just paying attention to my mind, being honest with myself, being sincere is what I enjoy the most. Even when something is not, like really, are you seriously being this selfish sometimes, right? Yeah, you have to confront yourself. But that's fine, that's life, right? We are not saints simply because we take these vows. We are monks in the making. So we are still working with ourselves. I'm just a baby soldier working for my teacher. That's my attitude. Anyways, we are not many, but if you get...
Small practical follow-up question. I know it only... It's okay. I think...
That's okay, it's okay. You guys can hear?
Oh, there is. I just heard half the answer, because I just walked in, but you were saying even a small something like a smile, a helping hand, something to engage with the world, to help would be great. And I try to do that as much as I can, because my guru says the same thing.
Uh-huh.
But I was going to ask, I also get pleasure from giving that help or that smile or that conversation, And that's when I think I feel like I'm getting attached to the result of the action as
Just
well.
enjoy it.
Okay.
Why do you have to get attached? I mean, it's
No,
yeah.
I was saying,
Just
like,
it's the
becoming
spontaneity
yourself?
of life. An action brings about a reaction. If the reaction is good, enjoy it.
Right, but is that an affirmation of the individual ego at that point?
No, why? See, we overthink this. We overthink it. I think we know when our ego of self-proclamation gets involved. We know very well when you do something for a spotlight, or for name, for fame, or for recognition. We know. I don't have to explain that. But when you do something just as an offering of just for the sake of it, for its own sake, you know, if the outcome is good, joy, joy. Yes. Peace, love, dance, no problem. Absolutely. Yeah, that's the fun part.
Because I do enjoy it.
Yes, yes, yes. Now another thing is you do behave in a certain way because you want recognition, you want attention, you love it. And there is nothing wrong about loving attention, recognition. It's just you become a slave of that.
Yeah.
Sooner or later you will understand, oh, I'm a slave of this. What should I change? What is my approach? If you have some talents, to provide for others, well, maybe you have to change a little bit the approach. In a devotional language, we say, well, I'm doing all this for you, oh God, right? And no matter what, I would just have to give my best. So, while it's a very it's a beautiful trick, because the moment you offer your life to something higher than yourself, where you will find something permanent, right? The magic happens. It's not about yourself anymore. It's not because you love that relationship so much and you honor God so much that you're going to try to give your best in everything you do. It happens to me. I can't be shy while doing this. I can't. Sometimes I feel like, oh my gosh, so many people looking at me like this, What am I going to say? My accent is not, fully American. I mean, what will people think if I mispronounce a word? Naturally, these things, but I don't care. I have to do it right because it's not for me. I'm just doing this as a service. And so with all of us. So when you have that inner connection, there is only one way, and I said this before, there's only one way to do things. Just give the best of your attention, give the best of your energy, and that will take care of everything. You just be happy. That's life in general. Sometimes we are not born being good parents. We try our best. In trying our best, we feel like I could have done more, but I didn't know any better. Like my parents, for example, I don't know. They didn't know any better, yet they were great parents. I can't really complain, they were not perfect, but they did their best. And I'm happy about it. So that's life in general. When there is love, when you care, we have to care. That's the problem. Sometimes we just don't care. And we do things mindlessly, not with our whole minds. Just when we do the dishes. It's no criticism. It's just that I can't help just quoting this. I went to the devotee's house. But it wasn't a devotee, actually. It was a relative's friend. And I said, hey, do you need help? Because we was like a dinner or something. I said, I can help you. And I opened the drawer where I could find all silverware. And everything was sticky. It was gross. It was gross. It was all dirty. And that's not the way to do things. But who am I to start teaching others, especially if they are not into this, how they should do their dishes? So quietly I started cleaning everything, the whole drawer. So just,
As a service.
of course. I can't say this. The way you do dishes is the way you clean your mind. Is that how you clean your mind? But truly, that's what it is. The commitment that you take to make sure that something is cleaned, that's the same commitment you should have when you go deep into within you, into yourself. That's what is called karma yoga. And you just do it for the sake of it, because that's the only way to do things. So no matter what, see, goodness will come. Of course goodness will come. And there is nothing wrong. Yes, enjoy it. It's fine. It's the gift of God. It's what we call prasada. It's the gift coming from tuning up with that divine presence in everything. And it's awesome, it's great. That's why I say life is beautiful. Because you get those rewards, but this is life. These are the laws. So there is nothing wrong, And so others enjoy it, you enjoy it, it's just perfect. Well, I was told that I had to end this, so we have only 4 more minutes if you have any questions. Oh, yes.
Thank you so much for your teaching.
Nice water. Of course, my pleasure.
I'm a psychotherapist, so I'm dealing with, the condition of being human with my clients with traumas and all
Yes.
And
I'm very interested in that too.
Yeah, and I see a lot of spiritual bypassing.
I
I'm
bet.
not sure if I have a question. I'm just curious. How do you see that balance in between, and I'm speaking also about myself, about my own human condition with, dealing with my own inner demons. And I heard about this discipline, practice, doing those practices. Where do you see that, fine balance in between, staying with the anger, staying with everything that we have, our neurosis, whatever.
Yes,
And at the
sometimes,
same
it
time-
happens to us that, because we are spiritual, we can't get upset.
Yeah.
I get upset, trust me.
Yeah, so I do believe in, quieting our mind, but it's also the body. It's so much more complex in, doing both, like honoring that human condition and at the same time finding, the spiritual or
Well, yes.
the next
So what
step to
happens
our
is the
evolution,
human
yeah.
condition, it's real. It's for all of us. But it's also, we are misguided. And unfortunately, I don't know if misguided, because we're not even guided. Nobody teaches us to go within. Nobody teaches us what is the right value or the right approach to life. Nobody teaches us that whatever we are looking for, fulfillment, completeness, happiness, however you want to call it, you are never going to find it completely in the outside world. In the outside world, it will have a beginning and it will have an end. So stop it. If you want to enjoy that, that's fine, but no, it will end. Right? And it will end with something that is inevitable. We call it death. But in between, our life, you may entertain that things will last forever, but sometimes they don't. So the human condition is that also stubbornness of not being able to accept that we can't find fulfillment in the objects of the senses. We will to some extent, but that's not life. That's just you being entertained. And life goes by. And suddenly you're in your 50s, your 60s, your 70s. I was like, whoa, what happened? I just wanted to be happy. and here I am again, you know. So we are not encouraged to do that inner work, go within, unfortunately. Religions try to help us, you know, to some extent, but the approach is also wrong. That we have to feel guilty, or we have to feel sinners, that we are sinners, you know, and this and that. Mistakes are mistakes. And for whatever you do, you have to pay the price for it. We have to be responsible for our actions. So the human condition, it's okay, but that's not a justification to understand this, to understand what life is all about, to understand what the goal of life is, and to understand that these laws, you just cannot go around them. We are slaves of these laws, and this is life. Whatever you throw out there, it will come back to you. Okay? So sometimes the human condition is like, well, I'm always suffering, I'm never happy. Well, because you're having the wrong approach to life. Right? Now, there is another aspect, though, that sometimes life gives you challenges that you don't see them coming, you know, and they are experienced in the form of sadness or shocks, you know, or pain, that unfortunately these are lessons to life or of life to us, you know, that we have to go through these challenges as strong as possible, because we can't avoid that specific suffering. Mm-hmm. So that is part of our life, and that is, the Hindus call it karma. It's not a justification to call it karma. It's just you can't pretend that you are not sad when you are. That doesn't mean that you have to be sad all the time. Mm-hmm. But I have experienced this in my own life, even as a monk, that there are certain situations that provoke me every time I set my mind on something that triggers that, oh, I wish things were different, oh, I wish you or somebody have made the, you know, a different, have taken a different course in your life, or made another type of decision, you know, and now it is what it is. This is something interesting that I never experienced before, that sometimes when, as monks, we also love, you know, we love human beings, we have family, we were born of parents, you know, and you don't want to see your your father suffering, or even the death of a dear person. To overcome the death of a dear person is very challenging. I never experienced that. I never truly understood that until I did when my mom passed away. For example, I was like, oh my gosh, it hurts. And it took me a long time to overcome that with all this knowledge, and, you know. So yes, from that point of view, we have to stay strong and just, you know, try our best. Slowly we'll overcome that kind of suffering. You're welcome. Thank you, guys.